Good evening, everybody. Welcome on in. Thank you for being here. I'm so glad you're here with me this evening. This is our midweek connection. And during the midweek connection, we had planned tonight to have a special guest. We're planning to do that right on up to about 10 minutes before starting. But our special guest is in a different time zone. So he is unable to be on right now. So that is okay. We're going to move forward. We're going to have a midweek connection. In fact, it'll bring me to being able to discuss some things further about our time that we are spending right now in manifestation, believing for, trusting in, living in the power of manifestation. This is the month of manifestation, and it's not that we can't continue to manifest after this month is over, but the point is that what I do believe is that we have set a particular standard for the rest of the seasons of our life. We have decided to start choosing the life we want to live rather than having life lead us. We are in the lead. We are leading life to be the way we want it to be, the way we choose it to be. I found a Tao verse here that I wanted to share, and then I want us to just again talk a little bit this evening more about manifestation. And because in the mornings we typically do our breathing exercise and we go through those processes, and I don't really talk, I guess I do talk a little bit about manifestations and some concepts that I really believe can effectively help us to change and shift when it comes to manifesting the life we've chosen. The Tao says, act without doing, work without effort. Think of the small as large and the few as many. Confront the difficult while it is still easy. Accomplish the great task by a series of small acts. The master, or one who masters this, the master never teaches for the great. Thus she achieves greatness. Let me back up. Wrong word. The master never reaches for the great. Thus she achieves greatness. When she runs into difficulty, she stops and gives herself to it. She doesn't cling to her own comfort. Thus problems are no problem for her. So much about what we're doing and we're not doing is based on perception. How are you perceiving it? Because how I'm perceiving it is in a way how I'm receiving whatever it may be in my life. I love how it says act without doing. Now that is something that is very interesting for us in the Western world, and for any of you who were raised like me, where you were raised to work. Make sure you're doing. If you don't work, you don't eat, things like that. And it's not that we should be lazy, but there is something to be said for being at rest and being at peace and allowing everything to unfold the way it's supposed to unfold. There's another side of that coin that says, I trust that the same force and source that brought me here into this existence is going to guide me and is continuing to guide me. The same source and force that grew my limbs, put eyes in my head, the same energy that caused me to be able to be formed in my mother's womb and kept me for 9 months. 9 months of non-doing, might I add. When you were in your mother's womb, you weren't freaking out about whether or not you were going to have a nose. You weren't self-conscious. It didn't matter to you whether you were clothed. It didn't matter to you whether you had a label, black or white, Christian or Muslim, Buddhist, Hindu, gay, straight. All of those other things weren't even on your mind while you were in your mother's womb. Those things started attaching themselves to you as you grew, and as the people in your life started telling you how to live your life and started trying to make you become somebody. That's when those worries and stresses and anxieties started growing and started attaching themselves to you. Being able to detach from them is an act of your will and deciding that I'm not going to continue to live my life through the conditioned lenses that were handed to me by people and by circumstances that I grew up around. The master never reaches for the great, thus she achieves greatness. Here's what I was on my mind earlier today, and it actually works out to be able to say this to you. One of the reasons that sometimes we don't get the materialization of what we're desiring to meditate is because we're concerned about how it's going to get done. We have been conditioned to think narrowly. One of the things that I want to invite us to do through this whole practice really is to broaden how we think, broaden how we receive life. Because so much about our life has been built around the rules that were given to us by others. And their limited thinking becomes in ways your limited thinking. And so we think, I'll give you some for instance, some ideas around it. We think that, okay, well, with the job I have, I'm at the highest level I could ever be. So how could I ever earn independent wealth income? The reason I say this is because many of us, when I say prosperity and abundance, the first thing we think about is a number and an account. So I'm using it as an example. We think to ourselves, okay, if I'm going to be a teacher, police officer, fireman, nurse, doctor, lawyer, janitor, executive, administrative assistant, secretary, whatever the titles are, if I'm going to do that, then I'm going to need a promotion, and I'm at the highest level. See, we have to break out of this belief that it has to come a certain way, that it's got to be confined to a 40-hour-a-week job, which most of the time is not 40 hours. If you tell the truth about it, often you carry so much of it home with you that it ends up being 60, 70, 80 hours a week. We need to stop thinking in terms of I work for 30 years and retire, and I'm now too old to even enjoy my retirement. Stop thinking in terms of a capitalistic society that has built itself around these kinds of concepts to bring ourselves into a wide open expanse, allowing ourselves to draw into our life and magnetize into our life out of the box ways to receive abundance, to receive prosperity, to receive health, to receive healing. It doesn't have to come through a drug. It doesn't have to come through a particular doctor. It doesn't necessarily need to come through a surgery. It doesn't have to come through a 40-hour-a-week job. You don't even have to think about confining it to a job, if I may use that term, that we even know of as a society. Well, I can give you a couple of examples. I think Steve Jobs is actually a good example, last name Jobs. Steve Jobs is actually really a good example. He blazed the trail and he affected the whole world with what he believed could be created. He was a very creative mind. Now, I don't know anything about his morality or his personal life. I'm not going there with that, none of that. But he had the will to create something altogether different, and he did it with a leap of faith. He wasn't confined to a 40-hour-a-week, 30-year grinding it out, hoping that I can get just enough to enjoy my golden years. He was thinking outside of that box because the box doesn't really actually exist. The box itself is an illusion. So the how is not up to you. The how is not up to me. The belief, the setting my intention, putting my energy toward the full development, magnetizing and attracting everything that I am supposed to be and capable of being, attracting that into my life, that's my job. If it's even a job, really it's just a matter of, well, I'll say it this way. A sculptor, the sculptor of King David, some of you have seen the statue that was made. The sculptor did not install the image in that stone. The sculptor simply removed the stone that was not the image. I want to say that again. The sculptor did not impose or impress the image into that stone. The sculptor simply removed the rocky part that didn't belong to the image. I'm speaking to somebody right now, and somebody wants to shout and run around the room, and you should. Because the truth is that in our life, dropping off the stuff, the limited thinking, letting go of concepts. See, the thing is the worst idols in the world are not idols of wood and stone, but idols of ideas and concepts that often weaken our ability to receive from the universe what's being sent to us continually. The reason the universe is eternal, or one of the reasons, is because it's always giving. It can't ever run out because it's always giving. And the universe is conspiring with you for your best life, not against you. God, He, She, Father, Mother, perennial force, source, I am, whatever you want to call it, energy, is not against you. The issue is that often we're going upstream instead of with the river and the flow of the universe. There's plenty out there. There's abundance, but so many times we have too much stone in the image and it needs to be chiseled away or removed. And so this is what I mean by non-attachment. Detaching from these concepts and ideas that are limiting, that hold you into a particular place. This is a message of freedom that I believe we need to give to the world. The way you manifest is to let go of the how, because that is not your duty. That is left up to God. It's left up to the universe. It's left up to the natural forces. The how will be taken care of by something else besides you. It's simply believing that you're worthy, that you deserve it, that it's available. Praying I want is essentially saying I don't have. Meditating from a place of I want is saying you don't have. Now, I'm not preaching at you. I'm saying these are revelations that I've had to learn myself that are unfolding to me the perfection of all that's possible to me and to you. It's possible to them who believe. Jesus said, when you pray, believe that you have received. He didn't say believe to receive. He said believe that you have received and you shall what? Have it. It's simple, and yet it's complex when we start thinking in terms of I'm having to go against the grain of what I've always been taught. You know, many of us have been taught work harder and you'll have more. The harder you work, the more you go to school. And I'm not anti-school, but often school teaches you what you can't do rather than what you can. Often we learn how to lose our imagination from being told what we can't do. And we fit into a mold. Our friend Ryan Oyer, who is going to be sharing music with us Sunday, by the way, in our in-person gathering, he did a whole song about this. These boxes, these beautiful boxes that we've developed, that we fit our lives into, and we shift our shape to fit that box instead of busting out of the box. So if there's any sanctification or saving of the soul that needs to be done, it's not saving you from an ogre god who's angry at you or saving you from a devil who could overcome you. It is saving our souls and self from the concepts that limit us from being the full, developed, pure consciousness that we all are called to. It's chipping away the stone that's in the way, that is creating a distorted image, because we are all created in the likeness and the image. You're not created in the likeness and the image of God because you said a sinner's prayer. You already are. You came here with that image and likeness within you. In fact, these messages and these concepts, they don't give to you anything. They help to wake up what's already in there. As Paul said, I want to stir up the gift within you. St. Paul said, I want to stir it up within you. He didn't say I wanted to give you a gift. I have nothing to give you. It's already all yours. All I can do is stir up what's already in there. So I'm just stirring some stuff up. Because if we will stir this gift up, we will create the awareness of it. One of the most powerful, one of my most favorite words is awareness. Being aware that I already am everything I have ever needed to be. I don't need someone to give me anything. I don't need someone to do something to magically make me better. I already am. If we were in community in person right now, I'd say look at somebody and tell them you already am. You already are everything. You are the I am already. You are very God stuff. Type that in the comments. I am that I am already. Already. I don't have to wait for it to happen. Now, there's changes in the cosmos. There's changes in the earth. There's changes in the galaxy that are transpiring. And there's special energy now in the atmosphere that's inviting us into an awakened state. In fact, I think there are more people on the planet now that are waking up than ever before in the history of the human experience on planet Earth. And that is creating a stirring of conscious awareness. And we all get to be a part of that. We are blessed to be alive now, in this time, in this place. We're blessed to be here now, in this season, giving to the world the message of freedom, becoming pointers, ones who point to the truth that makes us free. So, not coming from a place of want, not coming from a place of need, and not worrying about how. Visualize, realize, actualize, and materialize. That's going to be our May series, so I'm not going to spoil it. Thank you all for being here this evening, and I want to make sure that you know that you are invited to join us on this Sunday. This is our first in-person service that we have had since pulling this community together. You being there will help to make it successful, so please make your plans to be there. It's going to be at Audubon Acres in Chattanooga, Tennessee, and that's going to start. Well, they're giving us freedom to the whole facility from 8 a.m. until 1 p.m. because at 1 p.m. is when they open to the public, because there's wonderful hiking trails there and it's beautiful terrain. So I encourage you to hang around as long as you want to and hike and enjoy nature. But at 9 o'clock, the reason it says 9 o'clock on the flyer is because we're going to start around 9:15 with a meditation together. I'll be there earlier setting up and getting things in place for Ryan and for Michelle, who are going to share music with us. But at 9 o'clock, we're going to have an in-person meditation. Oh, it's going to be so good. And then at 10 o'clock is when we're going to start our celebration session. It's not going to be long and drawn out, because the main thing I want us to do is to get together and fellowship, because we have not been able to see each other in person. So you can build those relationships a little stronger. But I encourage you to be there and be a part of that if you can. Go ahead and make your plans. Make your plans, please. I want to see you there. I'm not coming from a place of want. I'm declaring that everyone who is supposed to be there will be there. I love you, and I'm thankful that you're going to be there. All right. Everyone who has been giving, thank you for continuing to support this ministry. When you support this ministry, you give us the ability to continue doing what we're doing and continue to grow. We have so many areas of growth that we're working on right now. Your financial contribution helps us to do that. We don't come from a place of need or guilt or shame. We come from a place of abundance and prosperity. We know that everything we will ever need and want to do this ministry is already here. It's already coming to us. The parts that are not in hand yet are on their way. But you may be a part of that. And so consider giving. P.O. Box 564, Gray, Georgia, 31032. On PayPal, of course, onelovespiritcenter@gmail.com. Venmo is @WeAreOne. one love. And again, thank you. Thank you for being here this evening. Thank you for sharing in this with us. And tomorrow morning we will be back and having our meditation time together. And I encourage you to be part of it because I know you'll enjoy it. Now, go and make it a great rest of the evening. I'll see you in the morning. Go make it a great rest of the evening. You know why? Because you can. I love you. Peace.